Hey everybody, this is Cannaday, and today we're taking a look at the Spider-Ham Hero Pack for Marvel Champions. Let's get into it. Alright, let's take a look at Spider-Ham here. So, Spider-Ham, of course, starts in alter ego form as Peter Porker. This has 5 recovery, which is actually pretty high. And he has a toon power here. After you make a basic recovery, place 1 toon counter on Peter Porker. So awesome. So if he does recovery, then he gets toon counters, which we'll see what these toon counters are about here in just a second. And a hand size of 6 and hit points of 12. So decent hit points there as well. So then on the other side here, we have Spider-Ham himself with 2 thwart, 1 attack, 1 defense, and then each toon counter on Spider-Ham can be spent as if it were a wild resource. Seems pretty solid because if you recover, you get those, but also Spider Nonsense response after Spider-Ham takes any amount of damage, place 1 toon counter on him. So when he takes damage, he's also going to get these toon counters. So if he gets hit, he's going to get wild resources, and some other things will trigger off these toon counters as well. So let's take a look at some of the cards here that come in the Spider-Ham deck. So the Daily Beagle is a 2-cost support. Alter Ego action, exhaust the Daily Beagle to place 1 toon counter on Peter Porker. So giving you more of those toon counters to use as wild resources there as well. And then we have an upgrade here, Huge Wooden Hammer. Spider-Ham gets +1 attack. Hero Interrupt. When Spider-Ham makes a basic attack, exhaust Huge Wooden Hammer and remove 1 toon counter from Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham gets +2 attack and it gains overkill. So that makes his 1 attack on his little thing here into 1, 2, 3, 4. So he'll be able to attack for 4 if you spin that toon counter, and it's going to have overkill as well. So that's pretty awesome for him, especially when he's just going to be attacking for 4 over and over again. And then we have Organic Webbing. This is a 2-cost upgrade. Spider-Ham gets +1 thwart, exhaust Organic Webbing, and remove 1 toon counter from Spider-Ham. Ready Spider-Ham, and he gains Aerial trait until the end of the turn. So Spider-Ham's going to be flying around and unexhausting, and you can spin toon counters on exhaust. That's pretty awesome. Cartoon Physics. This is a 1-cost upgrade. Interrupt. When your identity would take any amount of damage, discard this card, wiggle your body, and prevent all but 1 of that damage. So this shows off that there's some of these silly cards in the game where you have to do certain actions. This one says you have to wiggle your body to be able to play this card. But yeah. Then we have 2 of the Cartoon Physics. Then we have Spinning Web Pig. This is a 3-cost event. It is a hero action. Deal 6 damage to an enemy and confuse that enemy. There he is, Spider Pig. And then Petulant Pig. This is a 0-cost event. It says stick your tongue out at the villain, which, I mean, seems like it's a must. It's written on the card. And then the villain attacks you, draw 3 cards. So the villain attacks you, and you're going to get to draw 3 cards. It's a 0-cost event. And there's 2 of those. And then I don't think so. This is a 1-cost event. Interrupt. When you reveal a card from the encounter deck, remove 1 toon counter from Spider-Ham. Say, I don't think so. In your best Spider-Ham voice, cancel the effects of that card and discard it. So you better have a good Spider-Ham voice. 1-cost event here with Hogwash. Remove 1 toon counter from Spider-Ham. Loudly read the card's flavor text. Choose to either deal 5 damage to a minion or remove 5 threat from a side scheme. And then the flavor text here is pow, bam, whack, smack, bonk, which of course is either 5 words, so 5 damage, or 5 threat, depending on what you're trying to do. Then Ham It Up. This is a 0-cost event. This is a hero action. Remove 1 threat from a scheme for each toon counter on Spider-Ham. And if you've been carefully keeping those toon counters and not using them for wild resources too much, you can play this and do a ton of threat removal from a scheme, which would be amazing. So you have actually 2 of those. And then Captain Americat. This is a 3-cost ally. It has 2 thwart and 2 attack. After Captain Americat enters play, give someone a high 5 and place 1 toon counter on your identity, which of course you want to do. And shuffle 1 Spider-Ham card from your discard pile back into your deck. Awesome, so you can get some of those cool events back or different things to use Spider-Ham even more with Captain Americat. And of course, you get to give somebody a high 5. And then there is a 3-cost ally here. Spider-Ham is Justice, so he comes with a whole bunch of Justice cards. So here is Spider-Man. This is a different version of Spider-Man, not Peter Parker. It's really hard for me to pronounce his name. But yeah, you can get a little bit, let's see if we can get it up close enough. But yeah, so this is 1 threat or 1 thwarting and 1 attack with 1 consequential damage each. After Spider-Man enters play, remove 1 threat from a scheme for each Web Warrior card you control, including Spider-Man. So he's a Web Warrior, and of course Spider-Ham is a Web Warrior, and we have a bunch of Web Warriors from all the Web Warrior stuff that's been coming out recently. That's awesome. And then Lady Spider. This is a 4-cost ally, 2 thwart with a little asterisk there with 2 consequential damage, and then 2 attack with 2 consequential damage, and then response. So if you thwart, as a response, after Spider Lady thwarts, remove threat from a scheme. If you control another Web Warrior, remove an equal amount of threat from a different scheme. So she can get 2 thwart from 2 different schemes whenever she thwarts. She is 4 cost with 4 hit points. So she'd be able to do that twice, I guess. But hey, you can pull that off. It's pretty awesome. Even the Odds is a 2-cost event here. Requirement, you have to have at least 1 power when playing. Hero action, remove 1 threat per player from each side scheme. Deal 1 damage to the villain for each side scheme defeated this way. So if you have several players playing, this card is even better. So in higher player counts, this card can do even more. That's pretty cool. Making an interest. This is a 1-cost event. Hero interrupt. When your hero makes a basic thwart, it gets +1 thwart for that thwart, or +2 thwart for that thwart, sorry. After the thwart ends, if your hero removed all the threat from the scheme that way, heal 2 damage from your hero. So if you're able to get all of the threat off of a scheme, you're going to be able to heal also. That's pretty cool. And then a 0-cost, one way or another, max 1 per round. Search the encounter deck for a side scheme, reveal that side scheme, and draw 3 cards. So another way to draw 3 cards after doing something bad to yourself, one way or another. And then Overwatch, attached to a scheme, max 1 per scheme. When any amount of threat is removed from attached scheme by a thwart, discard this card and remove equal amount of threat from a different scheme. So you're going to be able to scheme and get rid of the stuff from 2 things at the same time. And then followed, this is a 1-cost upgrade, of course you've seen. Attached scheme is defeated, deal 4 damage to an enemy. Very Daredevil-like. And then Great Responsibility, which you've seen. When any amount of threat would be placed on a scheme, take it as damage instead, which of course works really good with Spider-Ham, who, when he takes damage, he's going to get those toon counters. Then Scarlet Spider, 4-cost ally, Web Warrior. Play only if you control a Web Warrior card. 1 thwarting and then 1 consequential damage. 2 attack with 1 consequential damage. Interrupt. When you would reveal an encounter card, name a card type. And then look at the card. If that card is the name type, deal 1 damage to Scarlet Spider and draw 1 card. So, if you get lucky enough about naming card types, you could get an extra card into your hand. Spider. This is a 2-cost ally. 2 thwart with 2 consequential damage, 1 attack with 1 consequential damage. Play only if you're a Web Warrior. Again, when defeated, add Spider to your hand if she was defeated by taking excess consequential damage. So, hey, you attack once with her, and then you do a thwart with her, then she'll come back into your hand and you can play her out again. That's pretty cool. You can either play her out or use her as a resource. So having her back in your hand would be an interesting thing. So she kind of like can recycle herself there a little bit and be able to be like attack once and then thwart once and then attack once and then thwart once if you're able to pull that off. Pretty cool. And then here a 3-cost support, Web of Life and Destiny. Ignore the resource cost of if your identity has the Web Warrior trait. So if you're a Web Warrior, this is a 0. So that's pretty cool. A response after a Web Warrior ally leaves play, choose a player. That player draws a card. So you can just immediately draw a card if you lose one of your Web Warrior allies. So combos with your allies there a little bit. And then team building exercise. This is a 2-cost support. I mean, we've seen this before, but it's pretty good. Exhaust team building exercise. Play a card from your hand. that shares a trait with your hero, reducing its resource cost by 1. So we got 3 of those, which go good with all the cartoon cards that Spider-Ham has. And then we have Spider-Ham's Obligation, of course, which I think is pretty funny. I don't normally go into these too deep in the cards that you kind of want to keep a little bit of a secret to be surprised. But I think it's funny. I really want a hot dog. It's got Spider-Man eating a hot dog, and Spider-Ham looks quite offended up here in the corner. But of course, it's going to remove a tune counter from him, or make him stunned. If you're already stunned, you gain Surge. So you're shocking. And then we have the Green Gobbler. And then, of course, all the other cards here that come with the Nemesis, with the Gobbler Glider. It's just funny stuff. Feast on this. Very Thanksgiving-themed bad guy there, it looks like. Anyway, and then we have the extra cards that come not in the pre-built deck. This is Warrior of the Great Web. This is a 1-cost upgrade attached to a character with the spider in its title. Max 1 per character. Attached character gains the Web Warrior trait. After a Web Warrior leaves play, attached character gets +1 attack until the end of the phase. This is a way to make Spider-Man actually into a Web Warrior, which would be pretty cool. So you actually have 3 of those that you can use. And then they're doing a thing now where they put modular packs in these hero decks that you can use as well. So we've got, this one is the whole, Inheritors. So the Inheritors are going to be coming in and messing things up. You've got hunting the spider totems, and then a whole bunch of different Inheritor minions that are, these guys look pretty nasty. It's basically like a whole modular set of just really strong minions. So if you want to face off against a bunch of strong bad guys, they're like each Inheritor gains Retaliate, each Inheritor gains Villainous. That would be terrible. Each Inheritor gains +1 attack. So these Inheritors, as they come into play, they're going to get stronger and stronger based off of the other Inheritors that are in play. So if you really want to up the complexity or the threat of losing the game, check out the Inheritors. All right, let's see what I think about Spider-Ham. So Spider-Ham is super interesting with all of the tune counters and all the zaniness and crazy stuff that goes on. I know it has a little bit of silliness. They announced this for April Fool's Day, basically, on Fantasy Flight's website, but they had every intention to actually make it. I think Spider-Ham is like an interesting character, and it's kind of fun to have him in the game. There is all that zany, silly stuff that you're kind of supposed to do, like give high fives and stick out your tongue, which I think if you're playing with kids or playing with younger ones, I play with my son, and he was really excited to give me a high five when he played Captain America and stick out his tongue at the villains and stuff like that. As an adult, it might wear on you a little bit as you play the game, and you can always just kind of ignore that if you're playing this casually with your friends after you've played Spider-Ham a bunch of times. The novelty of that might wear off on you a little bit. But if you're playing with younger ones, it's fun to ham it up a little bit, I guess. But I do like Spider-Ham with his tune counters and things like that. I think generating the wild resources with him is really awesome. I mean, he's going to end up having a ton of resources because he gets extra ones every time he gets hit and when he recovers. And he has other cards that add all that stuff in and cards that combo off of all of that stuff. I like his stuff a lot. I think Spider-Ham is a great character as far as like he can do a decent amount of damage. He has a bunch of cool cards in there to remove a lot of threat and things like that. I just think it's a fun deck to have. So I don't know if it's like my favorite deck of all time and it has that silliness and stuff like that in there, but it's definitely one that I would check out if you looked at all interested in the cards that were in there. Of course, it adds more Web Warrior stuff, so it combos together with your other Web Warrior decks and as you're playing with other Spider-Man characters and things like that. I really enjoyed Spider-Ham. I think this is going to get a seal of approval from me. I think it's cute. I think it's fun. I like the tune counters. I think the tune counters are really powerful, especially because you get tons of wild resources as the game goes along. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Let me know what characters you are liking right now. If you think Spider-Ham is too silly, if it's one you're going to get yourself, or if it's something that you think is just a little bit too zany for your taste in your games. I think it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Let me know what characters you're currently playing in Marvel Champions. I've been Cannaday, and I'll see you on the next one.